Hey guys, I want to do a video today on upgrading your guide rod in your pistol. 4 of my handguns have plastic guide rods, and I've upgraded all 4 of them to a steel guide rod. And I want to talk a little bit about why I do it, some of the kind of myth and legend about why people do this. And it's actually a very cheap and easy upgrade for a firearm. You're talking like 20-25 bucks, and you literally, it takes nothing to swap them out. So let's talk. Why would you want to do this? Some people do it because they like the looks better. For example, some people look at the end of a Glock and they see that little boring piece of plastic and they say, oh geez, that sucks. They would rather have something a little smooth, a little more refined. Or in the case of my SD40, it has kind of this little kind of metal, almost like a rivet end. Some people do it for looks, and it's completely understandable, because if you do have a very nice firearm, why do you want some little kind of crummy plastic piece to make it, make it look worse? Some people really like that, the stainless steel look in there, that little bit of bling at the end of the barrel kind of thing. So some people upgrade for that. Some people upgrade because they want increased reliability. And we'll get to that in a little bit as to what really happens when you upgrade these. And some people do it because they feel like a plastic guide rod is something that can break, and they just want to turn it into something steel that won't break on them. So not really reliability as for firing day to day, but long-term reliability of the firearm. And those are kind of the main reasons why people upgrade. And when people upgrade, people often also upgrade their recoil spring as well. And oftentimes firearms have the capability to upgrade to a stronger spring, which I've actually done in 2 of my firearms. I did it in my SD40, which we got the spring out here on the table, so it's apart. And I did it for my LC9. And we'll talk about why I did that in a little bit. But you do have that capability to not only go to the steel guide rod, but to go with a stronger or even weaker spring, depending on your preference. So let's talk about this. You go on a web page, you look up steel guide rods. They're always sold as being this kind of miracle cure that's going to make your firearm more reliable, decrease your recoil, help the balance of your gun, make you more accurate. They're sold as kind of this wonder thing, and they're really not. They're really kind of more of a, like a mundane kind of thing than that. After upgrading 4 of these and kind of interchanging back and forth, to be honest, I noticed zero difference in reliability. I noticed zero difference in the weight or the balance of the firearm. I noticed zero difference in the recoil. I like them, and I do it because I'm one of those people who, if I'm taking this out on a cold morning hunting, I don't want to worry about this plastic getting brittle and breaking. I don't want to worry about that. I would prefer spend the 20 bucks and have a nice steel one, because it's really a pretty affordable upgrade if you ask me. Now, that's why I do it. And experience has kind of told me, swapping these back and forth, that the kind of reliability and balance and all that and reducing recoil, really a myth. I know it's like the theory is that they're heavier, so they're going to absorb more energy, yada yada yada. Okay, now oftentimes, like in the case this my upgrade for my Glock, I use the same spring. I upgraded with the brasstacker upgrade for it, and the springs are the same power, but whereas this SD40 I upgraded to a stronger spring. Now, the idea being the stronger spring will absorb more energy as the slide goes back. It will absorb some of the recoil, and it will slow down the action of your firearm a little bit, which will allegedly make the gun a little more reliable and easier to shoot. Now, in the case of my SD40, which we got here in pieces, again, I went from I think it was a 19-pound spring to a 22-pound spring. And to be honest, guys, you cannot notice a difference. I originally, you read reviews and people are like, oh, it's a big difference, it's a huge difference, and I shoot so much better. And you know what? I swapped this thing back and forth, one magazine with one magazine with the other. I even kind of did it blindly without paying attention which was which. And you know what? I didn't notice one difference, guys. It shot the same. Now, what it did help is this gun was very finicky. This SD40 over here was very finicky about ammo. It had a tendency to fail to feed. The bullets would get kind of lodged going into the chamber. Upgrading that spring did help that problem. I don't know why, I can't explain it, but it did help that problem. And I'm assuming it was a break-in issue, and just that stronger spring helped the gun kind of overcome whatever friction was stopping it. And now it's not an issue. I can run either spring and ammo's run flawlessly. But initially when I got it, it was a little picky on ammo, and that spring kind of helped get it through. And so, you know, it didn't help my performance, but it did kind of help with the break-in. Now, I know some people go with a lighter spring because maybe they have difficulty charging the weapon, and some people like that lighter spring because it's a little easier on them. But however, you have to bear in mind that it's going to speed up the action and could possibly cause reliability issues. I also upgraded the spring on the LC9 to a heavier spring, and the reason why I upgraded with the heavier spring on the LC9, it is my carry gun. I typically carry plus Ps, and from what I read, it actually does take a little bit of the extra stress on the firearm off when you have that heavier spring. So I do have that in the LC9. Have I noticed a difference? No. You know, realistically, guys, I don't really notice a difference, but it gives me a little peace of mind to know that there is a tougher spring in there holding back all that extra pressure. So, stainless steel guide rods, I do them. I do them in every gun that has a plastic one. But I don't expect any miracle cure. I don't expect any miracle increase in performance. What I do expect out of it is that it's a good steel part that won't break, that won't chip, that won't get brittle in the cold, and that's my expectation of it. And I think if you have that same expectation, upgrading your firearm with one, you'll be all set. And I have no problems doing that and spending $20 to upgrade from this kind of dull, matte kind of piece of plastic there to something a little shiny and that looks nice. So for me, it's no big deal for that 20 bucks. And it hasn't affected the reliability, it hasn't made things any better or any worse, but it does give me a little peace of mind. Now, I have read, of course, some people have upgraded guide rods and had issues. It didn't help the firearm and it's made it worse. So my experience may not be your experience. So keep that in mind, that there are people out there who've had bad experiences upgrading. But for that $20 range, you're not breaking the bank. And to be honest, it's something you can change out in 10 seconds. You literally, you know, just take your slide apart. Take your slide apart. Let me show my frame here. You know, this is something you do as part of cleaning your rifle. Swapping one out for the other is a completely simple and easy thing to do, so I consider it kind of no big deal. Why not try it? So I just wanted to talk about it, and because I know it's out there, and James Yeager did make it kind of a big subject when he did his video and melted the guide rod on that Glock. So I wanted to talk about it and discuss it, so you guys could have a little better choice when it comes to upgrading your firearm.